that one you probably won't sell tonight. There's gonna be a lot of different opinions on what's water control.
And I hope they consider ordinances long and hard before they try to pass them.
Well, the good thing with the ordinance review committee is it will play hand in hand with the comp plan. Because everything in the comp plan revolves around essential ordinances in the town. So, maybe we can get a couple of the comp plan committee people to step up and be part of that. I think the comp plan committee that we currently have, I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. They've done a pretty phenomenal job putting it together and getting state oversight with it. So. Yeah.
Like we have one issue right now with people using ordinances basically against us, you know what I mean? Because you can't enforce one and not the rest of them. Some of them, that's why I say what I did about looking at long and hard before we make it an ordinance.
Well, one of the problems with ordinances, enforcement-wise, is the risk over reward. And that's a big problem, because they want the ordinances to maintain control. However, they don't think on the backside of that, what it's gonna legally cost to do that. And a very prime example is a violation. They get a notice. You have to give them 30 days to respond and comply. If they do not, they get another notice. You have to wait another 30 days. If they didn't comply, at that point, we have to make the determination. And when I say we, the select board makes the determination for the code enforcement officer to turn it into the attorney. So let's just say we have 10 violations in town. Let's just say we're gonna split it down the middle. 5 of them are gonna be like, yep, no problem, and they take care of it, no problem. The other 5 are like, nope, I ain't doing nothing. What are you gonna do to me? Well, what happens is when we turn that into the legal department, they will draft a notification, and then we'll go to the what's the word I'm looking for? The person that isn't compliant, the non-compliance. And they say, yeah, whatever, and they circulate it. Now we got 5 of those. The next step is each one of those has to, the attorney needs to put a package together and get a docket number at the courthouse with the DA's office. And then we have to pay to litigate it. Now, we may get a judgment, but that doesn't mean that the non-compliance people are going to pay that bill. It's simply a judgment. The judge says, say we win, says, yep, you have to do this, and you owe $4,200 in legal fees. Okay. Not a problem. And then they don't comply, or they don't pay.
Yeah,
Well,
they'll
those
destroy you
recoup that.
$5 a month, whatever
Right.
minimum to make it legal.
So we have to take that into account when it comes to our legal fees. That's why it's risk over reward. If there is the five, just say $4,000. That's $20,000 right there out of a $35,000 budget. That's just for the first round.
Right.
And I think I'm being conservative in the 4,000. We experienced it about a year ago, a little over a year ago. They cost us $3,800, and it never went in front of a judge. That was just filing fees and having the attorney file against a complaint. So I think I'm being conservative, but you can't. It's hard for us to enforce something if we don't have the money.
It's hard to do anything if you don't have the money.
Right. So whether the committee cleanest, fastest way to do it.
Does it do what?
A petition.
Petition every single one?
Correct. And then it would go to, because it would have to be routed through legal for verification, but then it would go on a ballot. Whether it's open ballot, referendum, doesn't matter either way. That's the cleanest and fastest way to do it. But that doesn't mean that others aren't going to bring ordinances forth to
Right.
get routed. So, kind of in a catch-22, either way we go.
Yeah, lost club, 7 people, make it push.
Second for that.
We probably have a few that could be abolished, swapped around or something.
Yep. Perfect.
Whatever you got from miscellaneous.
So. I would like to talk about the warning center. This seems to be a pretty harsh sticking point in this town. With just the amount of, I guess, I'm not quite sure how to word it. But it would be my recommendation we abolish it.
Fair enough.
I'll second that.
We're not making a motion.
Fair enough.
Frank, I want everybody to understand me very clearly. We are not making motions, we are in a workshop, this is not a vote.
Right.
But, that being said, I am in agreement.
Okay, so, all the donation stuff, the cots, the blankets, the pillows, the whatever was donated, what are we gonna do with it?
Donate them to someplace, you give them, how many are there?
Well, you got a list of the names of the people that donated them.
Give them back, see if they want them back, or see what they would like to do with them. You can go to the Salvation Army, I don't care who gets them, Goodwill. The shelter in Freiburg. Must be some kids that might want a cot to sleep on rather than the floor somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not asking that question.
Yeah,
So,
send them off to someplace good. But reach out to those people, drop them off first, see if they want them back, and see if they want to redonate them to someone else.
Ms. Patty, can you do this? How do y'all feel about a policy?
A what? Policy?
Policy.
On what? The warning zone?
Correct.
If you're doing away with it, the policy would be there will be no warning zone.
Correct. That's my point.
Well. Do we actually need a policy not to have
Yes.
something?
Yep.
Then whip one up.
I'll have the verbiage to you. I'll get the verbiage to you. It won't be for this week. It'll be for the following, selectmen's meeting. And y'all will have review. It'll be well before that.
So we should prohibit them?
Correct. Unless it's EMA directed. Lynn, Michelle, get the information from SAB 72.
No, it's school vacation.
Is she still gonna be able to go up and get that?
She will, but, well, she talked to Heather today, so it'll probably be Monday.
Can she verify with Heather that it was done?
Yes.
Please do, see if Heather will send an email stating such.
She may already even have that too.
Can you let me know in the morning if she does?
Mm-hmm.
You?
I got a question about Farnsworth Road. I asked to have the blocks moved,
Yeah.
and they were,
I think they are.
they're back now. They were,
Oh, somebody put them back?
yeah, they moved them Monday, and I went back up, I actually went in and went fishing. I went back on Thursday,
Pond up there or something.
in the clay pond.
I thought it was-
Went back on Thursday, and the blocks was blocked off again. I
Really?
don't know what the reason is.
I don't know.
I didn't know if you knew anything about
No,
that.
sir, I didn't. No.
I see the guy go up there and move.
Buddy went out Monday.
I know.
Make a request,
I know, that's why I went through you, because you know the history between me and Cliff, so.
Cliff was on vacation, he wasn't even here, he wasn't even in the state.
Alright, so it wasn't his fault. His buddy kinda run in there.
He was, while
Mind
Cliff
if
was
I
on
talk to
vacation. You can talk all.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
something, brother. You
I
can do as you
know,
please.
but you know the reason I went
I
that
agree,
route.
I agree.
Um,
When we adjourn out of here, I'll ask.
cause I wanna clarify one thing.
Has the Snowmobile Club, have they been squawking about out there by chance?
No, I don't believe so, because that's what I was gonna bring up. Originally, the blocks were put there, you know, to stop people from getting on
Yes.
the
Yep.
snow machine trail. You know, as soon as enough snow came so that they was using it, we'd block it off.
Yep.
That's the only reason we did it.
Yeah, I know on both ends, the Freiburg side and our side, it's summer maintenance road only.
Right.
Freiburg usually puts theirs out before we do.
Yeah.
Longer than anyone that's, cause I usually get tow calls, cause people whip up that
Well,
side.
one thing different between us and Freiburg gates all of their roads that are closed to winter maintenance.
No, they block Farnsworth, that end of Farnsworth, there's no gate, they block it. I've picked cars up off those blocks. Literally, on
No,
Farnsworth side, yes, sir.
if you did is,
No, I'm
those
serious.
blocks belong to Brownfield.
No, it was
No,
on-
no,
it was-
Freiburg has
It was
a
on the
set.
Freiburg side, Freiburg PD was there.
They put them in off of, Haleytown Road.
Yeah, off
Put them
Haleytown.
over there.
On Haleytown side, Freiburg puts their blocks out there, we do this end. And the Freiburg end, they're always out before we are.
Oh, yeah.
They always put them out there. I literally have pulled cars off of the blocks.
Well, I have to disagree with you because of the fact that when I was public works director, I put those blocks up there.
Well, I'm gonna give you a legal case that I believe you were here for that. When they tried to come after us, the town of Brownfield, because their 16-year-old child ran into those blocks on
That
the
was when I was
Haleytown side.
director.
And the cops were like, they are not Brownfield's blocks. We did not put those blocks out there. Freiburg,
Yeah,
Public Works
Cletus or whatever his name is.
put them
that
out
works
there
over
and blocked off the end of Farnsworth Road on the Haleytown side. Because not only did that 16-year-old smoke the blocks, their buddy right behind him tagged him in the ass.
Yeah.
And I got them both.
Well, that's news to me. So
Well, there was a Freiburg, Public Works guy, who's the one that took over right after the light got done?
Yeah.
It was that guy. He came out.